Good morning, guys. It's 11:21. Woke up about an hour ago. I did some dishes, did some of my stretching, and now I'm getting ready for the gym. So I want to have some salmon pulled. So today I'm going to show you how I defrost, season, and cook my salmon. So right now, I'm just going to get the sink running with some cold water. Fill it up there. That's going. I'm going to get some salmon. Now, I don't think I'll be able to have many meals today because I have to work from 3 to 7, so I'm just going to have 2 bags of salmon. And today I'm going to show you the difference between Ziploc and freezer bag. I froze both of these about a day and a half, 2 days ago, and as you can see, Ziploc bags are already starting to get a little frozen inside. Freezer bags, a little here and there, but nothing bad at all. Still looks great. So this is pretty much as enough as I want it. So I throw those in there. I'm gonna go get ready for the gym, and about an hour or two when I come back, I'll show you the process. So just about 2 hours later, most of the water's gone out of the sink because my plugs aren't that good at sealing, but these salmon are nice and defrosted and ready to be seasoned and marinated. So I'm going to get the plate ready and I'll show you guys once I have it all cut out of the bags. So these are the 3 products I like to season or marinate my salmon with. A lot of people just use salt and a couple of other simple ingredients, but then they'll use a lot of butter to cook it in. I personally would rather have sugar and cinnamon. I find it makes a nice skin, as you could call it. Makes a nice charred flavor on the outside of the salmon and keeps the inside of the salmon still nice and flaky. And it doesn't have that salmony, fishy taste after, so I find this is the best, at least for myself and my girlfriend. So salmon. This is Himalayan pink salt. This isn't just regular table salt you'll get. I'll go into detail in another video about why I use this and why it is important. Just crack a bunch on. The beauty thing with this is there's an adjustable size, so you can have coarser or finer grained salt. I prefer nice thick ones because the sugar and the cinnamon is very fine. So it creates different texture. Now sometimes I'll make a mix. I'll have an ingredient recipe for a dry rub for salmon where it includes chili powder, thyme, a couple other things. So one day I may make that for you guys, but today this is just how I've normally been doing it over the last couple months, and I really enjoy it this way. So take just a teaspoon of sugar and I just create a nice film over top of the salmon. I'll bring you guys in closer here so you can see. Same thing with the cinnamon. Now with the cinnamon, you gotta go a lot less because this is very fine, and as you can see, as you drop it, it kind of powders like some protein. It'll create a mist. Unlike the sugar, sugar just kind of drops down. There's no mist or air or whatever you want to call it. As you can see it coming out the side. So I like to make a very thin layer on the spoon and just kind of drop it on there. A nice thin layer. Some of the bigger pieces I'll add a little bit more. Again, this is very hard just because the cinnamon's so fine. You do your best and you learn how much you like. If you want to do a little bit more next time, a little bit less, Alright, so that's enough here. So I'm going to flip all these. And I kind of like to rub it around a bit just to get the juice soaked in and get the sides that I can't marinate as easily when I'm doing it with a spoon. Maybe even rub it down a bit. Don't be afraid to touch your food. Just as long as you're washing your hands, being aware of sanitation. And now normally if I'm not going to have this for half an hour, 45 minutes to an hour, I'll throw it in the fridge just so it can sit. I'm going to be eating this in the next 15 to 20 minutes, so I'm just going to push it to the side while I cut up some potatoes. And then I'll show you how I fry those up. So it's 1:53. Salmon is all nice and marinated. You can see it there. It's kind of got a nice wet film to it. Now this pan, it's already been on 7, right around 7 for 2 minutes now. It's nice and warm, I can feel the heat. And I covered that with coconut oil. I just basically used a brush and a jar of coconut oil from Bulk Barn. Open this up and give you guys a peek. It's basically that. I just kind of rub it around and rub it around in the pan, so that way I don't waste too much. So let's show you guys here. Now what I will do is the first side, I'll throw all the salmon down at 7. Right before I'm about to flip it, I'm going to turn it down to about 5.5 to 6. I cook the first side for about a minute till I see the bottom part getting nice and white, and then I'll flip it, only cook that side for about 20 to 30 seconds, and that will be it. So while I'm also doing this, I am cooking up some broccoli and some potatoes. So if it is a little noisy, please just bear with me. So let's start this up here. I like to pick the biggest pieces first. As you can see, it's kind of smoking. It's almost perfect timing. Lay that in. I like to put the biggest pieces in the middle and the smaller pieces out to the side. Scoop up any last little bits here. Throw that in here. I just need to wash my hands, so I'm just going to give it a minute and I'll be right back. So the salmon's been in there for about a minute, minute and a half now. I'm going to turn it right down to about 5. Now I'm going to flip all these. It's going to be a little hard with one hand, so yeah, nice and just slightly charred on the outside. Now because we dropped it, a little more than I would like it. So once again, I did char these a little more than I like to, but I will show you guys a few different examples along the way. I'll show you in a couple minutes when I have all my food ready here. Potatoes are almost done. So once you are about, you flipped it, you can check it. Push a nice little thing through it, through one of the fatter pieces, and you can see there. The middle, let me zoom in. Oh, it's still slightly pinkish. So I know I'm going to leave it there for another 30 seconds maybe. And that should be almost perfect. So it's now 2:03, about an hour since I finished my workout, and it's time for my first meal. I haven't eaten since about 10 o'clock, 9:30 last night, so it's been a pretty good fast. 12, 13, almost 15 to 16 hours. Here we have broccoli, potatoes, and salmon. Now I just showed you salmon, so I'm going to show you how this looks after it's cooked. So I'm just going to pick a bit of a fillet here. This one looks alright. And now this stuff should just flake as you push it. You shouldn't need a knife for salmon. Look at this. Just flaking away. It's nice and white. Beautiful. Try a bite here. Now obviously because some pieces are bigger than others, and I cooked a bunch today, it wasn't perfect, but look at that, just flaking right apart. That's what you want with the salmon. Nice and white, slightly pinkish still. And that's exactly what you want there. Now if you're getting discouraged when cooking salmon, pick a basic recipe, either a dry rub or butter or whatever you guys want, and then experiment with how long you're cooking each side and the temperatures you're cooking at. I find that's the biggest thing that people go through. They'll try out salmon and they're turned off after 2 or 3 days because it just doesn't taste as good as it does at the restaurant. Pick one way you're going to do it, and then for a week or so, just experiment with different types of way you're going to cook. And then from there, once you find out how you like the salmon to flake and how you like it to taste and you can cook it perfectly, then start messing around with changing the seasoning or the wet or dry rub, whatever you guys want. So once again, thank you for joining me. I hope you guys learned a lot about salmon today. Hit me up in the comments if you want any different food experiments, or if you have any other ideas. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. I'll be coming out with a lot more of these things.